well, this is kind of strange and awkward and weird to talk about, but I think it might help you out because there's something with my instincts over the last couple of years that have strengthened to the point that they really scream at me, and if I go against them, bad things tend to happen. So memory palaces are involved in this, memory techniques are involved in this. I was just interviewing someone yesterday and it came up, and so I'm going to tell you a little bit about how you can listen to your instincts better, test your instincts a little bit, and that you're not going crazy if you follow them. That's coming right up. So yeah, basically what happened today, I was really excited to go meet a magician here in Brisbane who I just called up on the phone to see what's going on and what kind of things are happening in the magic community, and he was very gracious, hooked me up with some things, and we were going to meet today. I was going to bike over there, and the weirdest thing happened. I was just thinking, nah, stay in today, and then I combated this, and I got in the shower, got myself all nice and sparkling clean, and the whole time just had this feeling of stay in today, stay in today. Basically, I also feel like a bit of an ass for canceling at the last moment, but going to work at the library to pay penance for that. It's supposed to be a day off, supposed to be battling my workaholic ways, but and then I was like, nah, I went and checked his email, made sure I had the address correct, pumped it into this admittedly old S4 iPhone, and not properly updated iPhone, but somehow it updated on its own, and I don't know what's going on, but I got myself outside anyway after like this internal debate going on and on and on, and then the map wasn't working because normally it shows a line between the origin and the destination, and I could just follow this, and it wasn't showing properly. So I went back in, and because I don't have roaming internet ever, like I had to go back in to get the computer to turn this sucker back on and to get the little green line, or you know, to show me where I gotta go. And it seemed to be all right. And then I get back down on the street, and now I pressed the navigation button and a voice is telling me go left on whatever avenue, and I just thought, no, this is just way too much. And I went back in, and then I was like, you know, this internal debate that goes through your head, oh well, I'm gonna sound like an idiot if I call this guy and tell him the universe is telling me not to go out. But then I just thought, you know what, you gotta just be straight up with people and not leave them in the lurch, because I know there's a lot of people out there that wouldn't even give you a call. They just disappeared from the face of the planet. So I just called them, and so we're gonna meet at a different time. But the reason this seems to me worthy of a video is not only that, you know, you got to follow your instincts, but you can train your instincts, and you can train your instincts using memory palaces. And it came up yesterday with Lynn Kelly. If you don't know Lynn Kelly's The Memory Code, it's a relatively new book. Oh, this is interesting because this comes up as well. Remember I was telling you about the luck factor the other day, and how that I published that new podcast about the 11 reasons why you should reread a book at least once a month. And as soon as I pressed publish, I went on the walk that I'm on now, and right there at this table, they're giving all these books away. There was the Luck Factor by Richard Weissman, and I grabbed it and I reread it, and it was just the most amazing thing, and I've been feeling pretty lucky ever since. And a lot of that book is about training yourself to build your instincts in different ways, and also to create more luck for yourself. Anyway, so yesterday Lynn Kelly and I, we were talking on the Magnetic Memory Method podcast. I'll be editing that and releasing it relatively soon. She was asking me, you know, do you have this phenomenon, this odd feeling of, and we were trying to figure out a name for it, and the best name that I've ever had for it is rhizomatic knowledge. And the basic idea of this rhizomatic knowledge is that somehow your mind seems to be giving you better and better associative magnetic imagery for your memory palaces, so that you're able to use the techniques a lot faster. And then, as she was saying, it's almost, you know, just like landscape connections are leaping out, and you got to hear the interview at this moment. We're just like sharing these epiphanies, but it's really something that just will happen to you if you get in there and you're using your memory day after day after day. There's an odd thing, and I think it's because the unconscious mind, it begins to get so good at creating these images that it sort of works a little bit in advance of yourself, and it's just an exciting feeling. And so you want to develop this, and the way you develop it is you practice your memory every day. And one of the easiest ways to practice your memory every day is to memorize a deck of cards. And that's kind of a shame, because I was going to show this wonderful magician here in Brisbane the sort of pattern that I've come up across a memorized deck routine, and well, we'll save it for a different day. But it's really a great exercise to be able to do. It's something that you will have a lot of fun with, and it's very easy to learn how to do. And you want to just learn the major method, associate numbers with all the cards, then use the major method to make images out of those numbers that are associated with those cards. There's lots of different ways to study it, actually. Some of them are painful and hard, and others are very, very easy. And I think the major method is the easiest way to do it, because it's the least arbitrary. There's a bit of arbitrariness to the major method, but it's quite limited when it comes down to how arbitrary other PAO, for example, methods of memorizing a deck of cards get to. But anyway, the point being is that one great way, in addition to reading The Luck Factor by Richard Weissman, is if you want to increase your instinctual abilities, is to use your memory. Use your memory. And then, of course, you have to learn to follow your instinctual feelings, even if they're sometimes weird and strange, as long as it's not mental illness. And that's what I think about when I have things like today. But I know that if I don't follow my instincts, really bad things happen. And one of the last times that I didn't follow my instincts, I got hurt really bad, because I was in Egypt and I went out to the pyramids all by myself, stupidly, except for I got these guides and they took me out on a camel, and one guy was pulling the camel, the other guy had the horse. And when we were returning, the guy said to me, "Would you like to take the horse back?" And he kept calling me Canada Dry. That was my nickname, Canada Dry, Canada Dry. And I just was totally thinking in my brain, take the horse, take the horse, take the horse. It was like the universe was screaming at me to take the horse. And I just ignored it, and I got up on the camel, and maybe 5 minutes later, Canada Dry, Canada Dry, you want to go fast, Canada Dry? And I didn't even have time to look at him and say no. But my head was turning to say no, but he was already whipping the camel, and the camel went up on its hind legs and threw me to the ground. This is Cairo, and I'm now, for all I know, I just had this image as I discovered myself on the ground. I fell about 2 meters from this this camel, and I just thought, I'm gonna be in a wheelchair. That's the image, the first image that came to my mind was life in a wheelchair. And I also thought, just listen to your instincts, man. And anyway, I was with Ollie Richards. You know Ollie Richards from I'llTeachYouALanguage.com, and he took real good care of me, made sure that I rested for the next couple of days, and I really didn't have any other choice. I had to lay on my back. And we just thought, well, now that you can't be a tourist, what are we gonna do? And we made an interesting course for you guys to help you learn the Japanese hiragana very fast. And so that was fun. But the point is that I got hurt really bad, and I'm not inventing this, I'm not going back in the past and thinking, oh, my instincts told me to do this and I didn't. I legitimately remember very strongly having this urge to take the horse instead of the camel, and I got hurt bad. And speaking of accidents, I had a spill on my bike the other day, and I was gonna take my laptop in my backpack on this bike ride, and some instinct was saying, no, you don't need that stuff. You don't need that stuff. Just leave it at home. And the nature of the accident that I had, I mean, it's not so terrible and it's healing up here, pretty good. I don't even know if you can see it there from that angle, but it wasn't so bad. But if I'd had my backpack on, I probably would have destroyed my computer because of how I rolled over onto my back. But it was, so yeah, I still had an accident, but at least I didn't break my computer, and I was able to roll in a particular way because I was so relaxed. And if I had had my computer, I probably would have tried to protect my computer in a way that would have broken a bone instead of just falling into the roll. So all of this is all just to say that you probably have instincts that already work for you, and if you're not listening to them, think about listening to them, and then just test them and see what happens. And today was just a real weird one where I actually resisted 3 times. I didn't even want to get in the shower, and then I didn't want to check the address, and then I didn't want to go back inside to get the map working, and then I didn't want to go back inside to get the map working a second time. But I just went against it and against it, and finally I just reminded myself, how are you doing this to yourself? You know that you need to listen to your instincts. You know what happens when you don't listen to your instincts. Just listen to your instincts. And that moment where I listened to my instincts was just as I was going in through the door, and I thought in my mind about Holly's apartment, which is a beautiful memory palace that he has drawn, and it's been used, and oh man, that incident helped me remember to follow my instincts. So there's no clear message here other than that there's something that happens when you train your memory that causes, I believe, your imagination to go ahead of yourself in ways that are probably healthy, and you can follow your instincts better, and you can really cultivate a sense of listening to them and test them. But don't test them too much, just follow them and be open with people, be honest about it, because it's just so crazy the things that wind up happening to us when we're not following our instincts. And I think it's a principle in life in general, because there are so many people who have an instinctual drive to create something, but they go against it and they never create that thing they wanted to create, or they want to contribute to society in some way, like, you know, they're trapped in a job when they'd rather be in Africa building schools or feeding the poor, but they don't do it, and they're not following their instincts. And I think it just creates so much unhappiness and sickness, and ultimately it creates a lot of bad memories when your life could be filled with good memories and great memories. And there's alternative paths to doing things that you want to do that do not have to go against your instincts. So I hope that you will check out that interview with Lynn Kelly later about the memory code and the instinctual elements there, because she's talking in the book a lot about tribal cultures and the relationship that they have with the lay of the land. And it's really interesting to think about some of her thoughts that she had about dementia and whatnot. And I think a lot of it just has to do with understanding more about how our brains work, how that they were evolved to work. I'm heading back to this book table, by the way, because I want to see what they got there. But check that out and let me know in the comments what you think about your instincts, and when have you gone against your instincts, and when have you followed them, and what was the results? I'd be very, very interested to hear from you all about that. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you'll come visit me at magneticmemorymethod.com, and until we speak again, I hope you will keep yourself magnetic. Bye bye. Mwah.